You know, there are a lot of things going on in the United States today. A lot of division, a lot of misunderstanding. So I'm going to try to bridge the gap. Unless you walk in somebody else's shoes, you really don't know how they feel. So for all of you out there who don't understand some of the recent things that have happened to black people, I want you to walk a mile in a black man's shoes. Now, I'm not going to really walk a mile. I'm just going to walk up the road a little bit, turn around. But by the time I'm finished, I think you'll have a better understanding. You see, when this black man first started walking, and then, 6 years after I started walking, I walked into a segregated school in the first grade because I couldn't walk into the closer all-white school that was up the street from my house. It was against the law. Then 2 years after I walked into that segregated school, I was allowed to walk into that integrated school right up the street from my house, where I could legally sit in a classroom with white kids. Now, unless you're black, you don't understand that because it was never an issue for you. And then, when I was about 19, I walked into an HBCU and earned my undergraduate degree. Upon coming out of that school, I tried to go back home and start my business career, but that wasn't going to happen. I was from a rural area in Texas, and the people I was calling on to sell my products, they were more interested in where I came from or if I was from around there. So I moved to a larger city and started working in corporate America. And I stayed away from my hometown except for visiting for over 40 years. Then I came back. By that time, in 1964, we had the Civil Rights Act. That allowed me to go to integrated school. 1965, we had the Voting Rights Act. That removed some of the crazy barriers that had been constructed that made it harder for me to vote as a black person. And definitely, I wasn't old enough at that time. But it was hard for my parents to vote until the Voting Rights Act was passed. So, for 61 years, my walk felt equal to everyone else when it came to voting. And then, in 2026, that changed. The Supreme Court struck down a voting map from Louisiana that created a minority voting district for Congress. That essentially gutted the Voting Rights Act. And many southern states raced to redraw majority, minority congressional districts out of existence and split them up, which basically said we had to vote for who they said we could vote for, not for people that would be from that district that was composed of majority minority residents. So you see, my walk as a black man never changed, but others that held power changed the path I could walk on. And that is the difference that many people don't understand.